Yo, what's up, guys? Good morning. Yo, yo. Okay, so how you guys doing? So we just rejected, I draw Fibonacci from low to high here. We just rejected from the one standard deviation. We do have buy side up here. We just took out internal buy side, and then we have equal highs up here. But you guys have to keep in mind, this is a very interesting spot in the market. We're in the middle of this range of this down candle. We already had a almost full rebalance of it yesterday. We do have the end of the fair value gap is right here, right? So this is where ideally the market should go, but it's very difficult to be going full port longs in the middle of this range. You have to be really careful that because the market can chop back and forth. We did take out this sell side from last night. Hold on, guys. So we took out these equal lows and we traded into this hourly fair value gap. So it makes sense that we're bullish here, but we have to be really careful. I think that the target is this buy side and ultimately the top of this daily fair value gap, which is 3 standard deviations off of this leg right here. If we draw this leg, which is, I guess, more if we draw the standard deviations from here, let's see what we project out to. So the 1 standard deviation, 1.5, and the 2 standard deviation falls right at the daily fair value gap. So that's a good sign that the standard deviation projections are coming out almost identical to where my target is, which is the 2 standard deviation. So we'll have to see. Market opens in a minute. I don't think we have much news today, if I'm not mistaken. Hold on, guys. Yo, good morning, by the way. Who's here? Whoa, why is it repeating my... Can you guys hear a repetition? Okay. Market just opened. Let's take a look at Asia and London session. So we had quite a bit of movement here. So that's one thing to note, guys, is we had a lot of movement in London and Asia. This is... Why is this so laggy? Oh my goodness. Gonna have to take off the magnet tool quick. This is 115 points of movement in Asia and from London, and then Asia and London. By the way, this is a little different to ICT. I use quarterly theory as well as ICT. So my Asia London's a little bit different. 147 points. So you got to be super careful here that we don't just get chopped today. As far as news is concerned, I don't know if we have any news today. I think we have orange folder if I'm not mistaken, based on what I saw yesterday. Let me open Discord quick. Yeah, so we had building permits at 8:30. So let's see, was there any movement there? I don't think so because it was orange folder, but yeah, there was absolutely no movement there. Let's check out the 5. So we took out this internal buy side, guys, and we just missed this internal high. So again, I'm already looking at the day today because of the movement we had in Asia and London, and the fact that we're in the middle of this range tells me this is not high probability to trade. We do have some new week opening gaps down here, and we do have this pair of equal lows that we missed. So, I mean, the draw could be down, but again, I think we're more likely to chop today than anything. You have to be really careful with days like this, in my experience. Wow, this is interesting. So I just want to point something out here. When you see a BPR that fails first thing in the morning, I don't know if you guys have ever noticed this, but from the data that I've seen, this can potentially signify a sell day, like just a straight down day. It doesn't have to be, and again, I wouldn't necessarily say that it has to be based on where we're at. On the daily chart, for example, on NQ, again, I want ups, I want more, I want higher, but I don't put it past the market to take us down lower here to, they don't want to just continue, they don't want a continuation long necessarily. They'll stop people out before they continue it higher. So you have to be super careful when you see a BPR like basically at market open or close to market open. So just a forewarning, guys. Let's see if there's any equal lows on NQ. Nothing that I see that's significantly obvious. Oh, let me share this quick on X. 1 second, guys. Okay, let me see the 15. This is interesting. So we do have this order block that formed in London, and it's a breaker block. Let me look at the hourly quick. So this is the breaker right here. And then there's a fair value gap right here within the breaker that we already traded into. So we don't have to trade back into it. But it's possible that this will be the area for longs. This is a really nice inverse, by the way, guys, earlier during the Asia session. We're not really respecting the mean threshold of this order block on the hourly yet. So that's already signifying to me that price action might not be great. We'll have to see if this wicks, though. If it wicks up, then that will be a better signal of potential continuation. But again, just looking at the day, I'm already a little bit weary. I want to see something here. I was seeing a lot of talk yesterday about, I think it was ASML, which is the semiconductor company, if I'm not mistaken. $340 billion market cap, and they're trading at a 20, I think they said it's a 21 PE ratio, right? Let's check. Where is it at on TradingView? Or it's not the P, it's a forward PE. I'm not sure. Anyways, let's get back to NQ. I think this is something that I want to maybe own, but it's already up 2% on the day, which is interesting. On the monthly chart, I don't like that we inverse this monthly. It tells me we're probably, well, we already traded into this fair value gap. But if we go lower into it, I might consider adding. So I'm not going to add this just yet. But all right, let's go back to NQ. Yeah, so already I can see this BPR was not respected. We closed right at it, so I guess it technically was respected as a downside move, but another BPR formed at the downside. This is already just not good price action in my view. We did take it again. We took out internal buy side. 830 is up here. Midnight is all the way down here. We took out this sell side liquidity, so I'm going to delete that. But we do have more equal lows down here and the new week opening gap. So just not a good place for me to trade, honestly. Had a great week, and I'm not trying to take low probability setups in the middle of this range. If we get some miraculous bullish market structure shift up here, I may be looking to target these equal highs, but until I see anything that's confirming continuous upside here, I won't be adding longs. So this Traderate account, guys, is at 50,350. So, yeah, it looks like we're probably you could take a scalp up to this internal high to balance this 5-minute. If you really wanted to, I'm not going to do that, but there it is. But yeah, to me, this looks like potential shorts from this 1-minute fair value gap. We tagged it just slightly here. We took out these equal highs. And again, we have this sell side down here that would potentially be the target. I don't think today is going to be bullish just based on what I'm seeing, but also I'm not putting it past the market to range because of the big move we had in Asia and London that I told you guys about. So again, if I had to say right now, gun to my head, today is not a good day to be trading with a live account. You could go with paper and try and scalp, or do an eval, or maybe a funded if you want and you really know how to scalp. But as far as like any long-term or longer holds today, like 30 minutes to an hour, I'm not seeing anything that I like right now. The only way that will change is if we can close back above this high, maybe create another 15-minute order block, and then potentially target this internal buy side and then the equal highs. And then this is the top of a fair value gap that I would potentially look for as well. So if we inverse these two fair value gaps right here, so these are both holding down price in the 1-minute, right? We could potentially look for this buy side. I think that that's not bad. Let me just look at the calendar and see when our next set of red or orange folder news is. So the next set is at 12:10, which is a ways away. So we don't have anything that could potentially manipulate for a bit. Let me just look at FinJuice quick and see if maybe there's other Fed speakers that I'm not seeing on Forex Factory. Today is the 18th, right? Yeah. Okay, so we have Fed speakers all day, guys. We have Fed speaker Wallace that's talking right now. And then we have all these treasury bill deals. Oh no, that's the 21st. Okay, so actually, I don't know when Fed Bostic stopped speaking, but he started at market open. Okay, guys, so this is pretty bullish now. If we get this inverse on the 1 minute, I think you can target this hourly buy side, if I had to guess. But the stop is huge, so you have to be really careful. With 1 micro here, let's see what we're looking at. First of all, the RR is not great. That's one thing I'm going to point out. Already we're not seeing a close above yet, but it's pretty much a 1-to-1 if we close right at the top of the fair value gap, which is not fantastic. You're looking at a $645 stop, potentially even bigger of a stop. For a $615 win, I don't really favor that RR, to be honest. So the best thing we can see here is an order block that forms and then a continuation higher, because then your stop can be moved. You can move your stop to maybe the mean threshold of the order block that forms, and then it reduces your risk a lot. But if that doesn't form, then you're basically risking us coming back to rebalance this 1 minute. And then you're basically praying that you're not going to close back below it, that you won't have to move your stop down. So this is definitely a risky area to be looking for longs, in my opinion. But if we get this 1 minute inverse, you can try it if you really want to. Again, I wouldn't suggest it. I don't like this price action. This candle setup is not ideal to me. Let me look at the 3 minute. Yeah, no 3 minute fair value gap. No 4 minute. We do have this 5 minute, which looks a little bit better. We did take out this also have liquidity, so the 5 minute looks decent. That I will give you, but on the 1 minute chart, you have to realize once we get this close above, the market could easily come back and balance this 1 minute, which is very close for comfort to this IFVG on the 1 minute. So it's very difficult to know where to put your stop here because we could wick down. It's just not a very high probability setup in my eyes. Too much risk for manipulation down. Again, I'm not saying it's not going to work, but I'm just saying that the RR and the probabilities here are not ideal. If we close the 5 minute here, guys, here's the setup I would take. If we close the 5 minute above, and then we come back down and create a 1 minute inverse within the 5 minute IFVG, I could take that long. That I would do. And then the RR could potentially be better. We could move this down a little bit, for example. And then it would be better. But again, this is just a weird spot to be in. We did close above the 5. So if we do get that 1 minute, I'll zoom in now. If we get a 1 minute within here, maybe, I'll consider a long. But until then, we'll have to watch this. Potentially go up to this hourly buy side. I just don't like taking trades, especially within the first like 15 minutes of market open. Typically, it's a lot more volatile and a lot more wicky, and you just have to be very careful. Especially when you've had a great week, right? If you had a really big green week, like me, I've had a very successful funded and cash account week and eval, but a little less successful on eval. It's not worth me taking setups that I'm second guessing. Like this right here, I would not be comfortable entering this trade because of the potential of all these wicks. So I'd have to see a really good A+ setup form within this 5 minute IFVG to take us up to this buy side liquidity. And also realize, guys, too, we just took out the high of day already. So easily we could manipulate down here. Gonna delete this. And also we have a macro time in just a little bit at 9:50, so keep that in mind. Yo, who's watching this apart from Bob? Anybody I know, or are you new? So look at this reaction, guys. Lack of displacement above this internal high. So just keep that in mind. That doesn't necessarily signal bearishness, but it's also not showing us that the market is having strength above high of the day. So another thing to be careful of. Again, look what I said, guys. If you would have taken this 5-minute, right, like a lot of inverse IFVG traders take, right now you're in a lot of heat. This is really scary because you longed the top of this IFVG and now the market is moving down. So you're basically holding a long from up here and you're praying that we don't close back below this 5-minute fair value gap. So that's why I said you want to wait for us to take out this internal low, trade back into this 1 minute, and potentially get a setup from here. So like this 1 minute fair value gap, if it forms, I don't know, it doesn't look like it's going to. Very small, not obvious, so not something I like personally. Just a heads up, guys. So nothing on the 2 minute, nothing on the 3, nothing on the 4. We're basically just praying for a nice 1 minute setup to form somehow here on the 1 minute chart. And so far, this is the only fair value gap that we have. It's not obvious. This is how I look at it, guys. There are retail traders that are looking at this chart right now. And basically, I'm looking for things that are going to trick retail traders. Nothing here that I see tricks any retail traders. This fair value gap was quite obvious, and so a lot of people try to short this, and I get how this could smoke people. This is something I would consider longing, but nothing here is so obvious that it would make me think that the market will reverse and stop out shorts. So that's why I'm not looking for anything at all right now. Again, look at this, guys, the 5-minute IFVG that all the furus are going to claim on X that they took. And then look what happens when you try and take a 5-minute like this. You get destroyed. So be very cautious of traders that say they're taking inverse fair value gap setups, and then it's like every single time there's a good one, they call that they took it. But then there's ones like these where they don't understand market bias or liquidity, and they just take any random gap, and they would get destroyed on this. So that is why I didn't take that. That's why I wanted to wait for a 1 minute setup within it, which we still have nothing. 2 minute wise, this doesn't look bad. Now, ideally, if we swept like maybe a little bit of this liquidity first, and then we inverse this 1 minute or this 2 minute, then I would probably say that this is a setup. Stop would be a close back below. Take profit would be at the 1 hour buy side. But ideally, I'd want to see us sweep this internal low, trade into the new week opening gap potentially, then look at the long. And right here we have this hourly fair value gap, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so it's an hourly, and we have the bottom of the daily. So that's a decent area. But let's see if we get this 2 minute. I think this one's not bad, and it's going to be at a start of a macro time. So let's see if we get a decent close. Here we have less than a minute. Okay, so this fair value gap is already closing, which I don't like. Let's delete all this. Yeah, so nothing that I like here, guys. Oh, this 1 minute doesn't look terrible. Nah. I don't think it's good enough, to be honest. So I know, listen, my job here is not to entertain. My job here is to take good trades. And you will find that the majority of profitable traders, watching them is probably pretty boring. because they only take the best setups. So a lot of the times they sit and they watch. They're not taking a million trades like what you would expect a profitable trader to do. Yeah, there's no good fair value gaps here, guys. Nothing. Nothing that I would take. You will find the best setups. Like, look at this that happened at... did I delete my sell side? There were equal lows right here. I don't know if you saw earlier in the stream. I deleted the line on accident. But look at the setup we got during Asia. So right here, we took out the internal low. See that? And we inversed this 1 minute right here. It also was a 2 minute probably. Yeah, right here was a 2 minute. And it was a 3 minute right here. And it was probably a 5 minute. It was. And you could have taken longs up to here, up to this internal buy side, and eventually you got them all. So the reversal happened after liquidity was swept. Okay, so we are getting this potential 1 minute inverse, but again, I would never take this. It's not obvious enough to me. Too easy to get chopped and smoked here. There's a 2 minute here as well, but it's just so tiny. There's no reason to take this. And look how the market manipulates people into longs, and then it wicks down. So we could potentially go down here now. Just not a high probability area. I told you guys that I was expecting chop when the market opened. Look at this barcoding already we're getting. Because of the move we had in London and Asia, do not expect to have continuation today. I'm telling you right now. It's possible, but the odds are just so much slimmer. You can just see, guys, no obvious 1 minute fair value gaps are setting up here. You could have tried this short after sweeping liquidity, but again, we have more obvious liquidity above, so this is not a plus liquidity sweep in my opinion. So again, not great PA. And it's okay that you can sit and watch, right? Be disciplined enough to be able to not click a button and watch when the probabilities are not in your favor. So look, guys, there's no obvious fair value gaps. This 2 minute sucks. This 2 minute also sucks. Doesn't mean it won't work, but I am only interested in taking the best setups, and nothing I see here is optimal. Again, the draw, my target is potentially this hourly, but the fact that we inverse this 5 minute, right, and we close back below it after closing above it, we did close above it, right? Yeah, we did by 1 tick. If you guys look here. We closed above it, then we closed below it. Now we're trading within the range. Terrible spot to be taking a trade. Yo, what's up, Kors? Good morning, bro. Are you taking anything? You better not be. I'll slap you through the screen. It's a terrible, terrible time to be taking trades. Though I do think the bias is bullish. Oh, by the way, Kors, make sure you're live too. Don't want you lagging like you were yesterday. So again, we just closed above this 2 minute. Again by a tick, just like we closed above the 5 minute. And look, guys, we rejected the 1. So the 5 minute closed above, but the 1 did not. So that's probably why we rejected here. But again, the main reason we rejected was the liquidity sweep. I'm so happy that I'm not in anything here. Yo, Kors, are you lagging again, or are you watching this live? Make sure you click the red button to make sure it's live, so I can actually talk to you and not have you answer 30 minutes later. Wow, this is boring. Yeah, I really don't think today is a good day to even be watching the charts. Just based on what I'm seeing, London, Asia, big move, chopping exactly like I said it would in the morning. Yeah, sometimes it's just better to just go touch grass and not be watching garbage PA. Wow, Riot's up 4% on the day. Let's go. I should be close to break even on this trade. I think Riot is going to have a huge move, guys. Bitcoin, what's Bitcoin doing? Oh, Bitcoin's at 68. I didn't even look at crypto today, guys. Wow, look at this. So, like I said, the weekly order block is forming. This is for sure going to close above unless we get some crazy manipulation move down here, a little lower than maybe 4%. So if we hold this, we're forming a weekly order block and inversing that daily fair value gap that we called the other day. For sure, we're going to 70,000, guys. I'd say with a 90% certainty, I think we're going to at least the mean threshold of this daily wick, which is 69,000 something. But I think we're going to sweep all this LRLR. And I think we're going to make new all-time highs on Bitcoin within the next few weeks. Maybe the next month. Could be earlier. Could be a little longer. Again, my job is not to time it. But the PA is telling me that this is supporting continuation and sweeping all this low resistance liquidity that we have built since March. So that's huge. And then again, Riot. Let me check it again. Wow, it's up 5% now. So we're inversing all of these daily fair value gaps. This was an optimal long right here, if you ask me. Were we trading from a fair value gap? We were on the daily. There's this little one right here. I was potentially expecting the sell side to get taken, but we never did. But the fact that we inversed this daily, I mean, it did close back below, so you might have been stopped at break even. Or did it close below? No, it actually didn't close below, so you never would have gotten stopped, and you would just be holding longs here. I think we're going to 13, and I think we're going to potentially have a huge push to 18, 20, 23 once Bitcoin hits new highs. That's what my take on it is. What's NQ doing now? Again, NQ just chopping around within that 5 minute. Terrible spot to be. Terrible spot. Coors, are you in a trade? Or do you also expect the market to chop this morning? Or do you have a bias at all? Or does anybody have a bias on what they're looking at? Because I'm telling you guys right now, the odds of you being in a successful trade today, unless you're scalping, doing 30-second scalps based on 1 minute candles, I would be very cautious. What's ES doing right now? Also, really shitty PA. NQ seems to be a little stronger than ES, but again, there's not even an SMT here. Both made a higher high, or a higher low, I mean. Nothing. We do have a bearish breaker right here, right? High, low, higher, high. But we shouldn't have really traded back below or back above this candle, so not ideal. Oh, oops. Okay, so we're finally potentially going to inverse this 1 minute fair value gap. So this might be a decent long if you want. You guys can keep your stops below these two order blocks and target this long, but this is not my model and not something I would take. Too low probability in my eyes. Especially because we formed this 5 minute that we closed above, closed below. Now we're potentially closing back above it. So not my cup of tea. Wow, right? It's almost up 6% now. Let's go. Yeah, this looks really bullish to me. And look at this, guys. So we formed this bullish breaker here, right? Low, high, lower, low. So this is a breaker. This is also an order block. This is a monthly fair value gap. We're getting a big push from this area, and we're about to potentially inverse a monthly fair value gap. This is so bullish to me, I can't even begin to explain to you guys. With all this low resistance liquidity, I think this is going to be a huge run. From here up to 23, guys, if you're investing in Riot, again, this is a high risk stock. It's very small market cap and moves like crazy. But we're talking about 141% return from where we are right now. So if you took a long here, okay, I would close a position back below this low, which is at $6.98. Take profit would be at this internal high right here. So you're looking at a 5-to-1 trade. And again, 141% return from where we are right now on the charts. So that is a crazy trade. And that is something I called in my Discord. So if you're listening to this, props to you or congratulations. You have a decent high RR trade. But again, I'm only risking, I think it's 0.05% on my portfolio to make 3% on that trade. So if I lose the trade, I'll have a loss of about 0.5% on my portfolio. If I win, I'll increase my portfolio size by 3% on one trade, which is, in my eyes, pretty insane. For some people that have higher risk profiles, that's not insane, but also they'll have a lot bigger drawdowns. So If you guys are looking for a super high risk, high reward play, Riot is that in my opinion. And look, secretly we're up from the lows here 46% in a month. Quietly, nobody even talks about Riot. So, guys, this looks good. At minimum to this buy side, and then I would keep your stops at break even and then hold runners up to the hourly. But the stop is just too big for me. If you want, you can keep your stop below the order block here on the 1 minute, but again, not my forte, so not my model. If we get some kind of a 1 minute here, then I'll consider the long up to this this hourly buy side. Did we form equal lows here? Ooh. I don't think they're equal. Are they? No, they're not. That's a bummer. So big rejection there, guys. A lot of people that are induced long here probably going to get stopped out, at least go back to this low. So just a forewarning. Cores, are you in a trade? Can you even hear me, Cores? Are you even live? Or anybody else? Is anybody in this long? Up to hourly buy side. Again, it's coming from this internal high right here. I am not. I don't like the trade, but I'm sure there's somebody in this. And potentially forming a 1 minute OB here as well. So we have an OB here, OB here, OB here. So lots of decent support, but this is also LRLR, so you have to be very careful. Yeah, such a bad spot, guys. I think this probably hits, but we could easily get inducement and then a takeout of all this LRLR here first. So not in my interest. Again, we did inverse this one. So in theory, your entry could have been here, but your stop should already be to break even. And you probably would have gotten stopped out right here. So not optimal. Again, this 25 to 875 level is this hourly buy side. Looks like it's going to hit, but no good entry for me. This 1 minute was not good enough, especially after we inversed to 5 and then inverse below it, then inversed above. No good 1 minute inverses. This I did not like at all. But if you took it, props to you. I would probably take profits in this area because we could easily get manipulation down here. In fact, just the fact that, well, not necessarily yet. This is a 1 minute OB, but if we start closing, coming down below the 50% level of it, then I think we're coming back down to these levels. So far, lack of respect. I mean, we're basically at the fine line here, but I think this is not good for longs right now. So watch this low here, because a lot of people that are long have their stops below this low right here. This is how you get chopped up in the markets. Again, if you're long right here, you were chasing price, you're basically praying that this 1 minute order block is going to hold. You might get lucky, you might not. Yo, is anybody in a long right now? If you are, let me know. I know you're sweating if you are. Bob, I know you're not on the long, Bob. You take what I take, don't you? Yeah, so look at this, guys. Lack of respect. We're going to this low, I would say, with a high degree of certainty. Let's look at the 5 minute. 5 minute, this order, you're basically praying this order block is going to hold. Yo, Benoj, good morning, bro. Happy Friday. Are you in anything? Did you end up going on tilt yesterday after we left? Still watching, not in anything. Okay. How did you end the day yesterday? Okay, good. So you had something that forced you off the charts. Not the way I wanted, but have ammo left. All right, good. Make sure you don't get margin called again. Or liquidated, whatever, margin liquidation. Got to know what our margin requirements are. What the heck? Yeah, this is such terrible PA. And I told you guys, if you were in the stream earlier today, in the morning, I talked about the 140-point move or whatever it was from London to Asia, Asia to London. When we have big moves in Asia, London, especially after the price action we had yesterday, very likely to chop around in the New York session, especially in the AM. So maybe we might have a decent PM stream, but this AM is looking real nasty. 5 minute, you're praying that this order block is going to hold. Doesn't look high probability to me, especially because we're high up and we already swept a bunch of liquidity to the buy side. Benoj, yes, that's on my priority, and no, now I was doing it all these years. I don't know what that means. Sorry. This 1 minute is potentially okay, but again, we swept all this liquidity already. We're so close to hourly buy side. Not my cup of tea. And we don't have any fair value gaps on the to look for a short. This might have been good on a 30-second chart. We do have a 1 minute order block that formed. I'm guessing we're going to go back to these lows here. But again, nothing that I would take. But those shenanigans change their rules on the fly. Which shenanigans? You're talking about all the furus that are looking for trades today? I can't tell you how many inverse fair value gap traders are claiming now we're going to, if this was successful, this 5 minute, they would have claimed that they took it. But now you can see that you would have gotten destroyed if you took this 5 minute inverse. And I explained why I didn't take it on the charts. Again, I'd wait for a setup within it, like a 1 minute or a 30-second setup to go long. I would not be taking this 5 minute here. because first of all, the risk is huge. This is a huge stop loss. And look what happens if you would have taken it. So again, guys, if you get a 5-minute inverse, 9 times out of 10, it's better to then zoom in. So wait for the 5 minutes to close above like it did. I think it was right here. Then wait for a 1-minute inverse within the 5-minute. So we didn't get it here. This 1 minute was okay, but I didn't think it was A+. But wait for something obvious. And right now, there is nothing obvious to me. Look at this bar coding. If you look at the 5-minute, look at this chop. Anybody who's taking trades in here, I guarantee you 90% of them are losing money. This is called time distortion. It happens after big moves in London and Asia, especially when a lot of the daily targets have been hit, which they have, like the mean threshold of this daily fair value gap was hit the other day. So definitely not high probability area to be taking trades. And a lot of you guys are looking for entertainment. You want somebody that's going to give you a bunch of trades and make things exciting. But the reality of trading is that it's not exciting. You have to find A+ setups, and the way you do that is sitting and staring at the screen until something A+ comes. And if it doesn't, you don't take a trade. Oh, Binoj, I was just talking about ASML. I took ASML. Oh, no, the shenanigans changed. Oh, the brokers for the margin requirements. Yeah, that is crazy. I took ASML from 120 to 380 because it was beaten so much. Just took a reversal play, so salvaged some. Yeah, I just was talking about earlier on the stream. I don't know if you were here, but I am looking to take a long position on ASML. Once we get to at least a little bit lower in this fair value gap right here on the monthly chart. We are trading, let's see here, what is it? Almost 40%. If we get to this fair value gap, it'll be about a 40% discount from high. So I really like that. And look, guys, all these traders that were long got stopped out on these wicks. This is one of the worst days to trade. And I told you guys ahead of time. Hope you listened. Even this 1 minute does not look A+ to me. Is there a good 2-minute maybe that I'm missing? This 2-minute doesn't look half bad. But again, it's not the most obvious. I think, let me see if there's a 1-minute fair value gap in here. No, not really. Yeah, guys, this does not look good. And look at this 2-minute. It's really tiny. It's not even obvious. Again, I do think this is probably the draw. But nothing I would take. What's the fair value gap price zone on ASML? If you look at the monthly chart, it goes from 624 to 679. So I'm looking for an entry somewhere around 660 ideally. Binoj, I do trade London and Asia. When I was in Thailand, I was trading Asia session. But I think London is the best to trade, honestly, because New York is typically the most volatile and the most manipulated. London, I think, is a little bit more optimal for slower traders and to get some more precise guaranteed moves. Again, you can do it on any time frame or any session, but I do like London. At 8:30 in the morning, there's typically less manipulation than at 9:30. I think NQ follows more TA in London than New York. Yeah, it depends. Depends on the sessions. Like if Asia and London have heavy consolidation, which they often do, then we'll get accumulation, manipulation in New York, and then the distribution phase in New York is excellent. So it really just depends on how Asia and London form. I typically trade Asia-London if we have a small move in New York session the day before. So guys, this 2-minute doesn't look half bad. If we're looking at a long buy here, let's just say we close there. You're looking at a almost 3-to-1 trade. If we trade that with 1, you're looking at a $195 stop, potentially for a $510 profit. So not bad. Yeah, definitely less manipulation. So this 2-minute, guys, again, not AA+, but we did take out some liquidity internally. And this is the buy side draw, so I would give this maybe a 7 out of 10 if we get it. And again, it's because we took out some internal in the 1 minute. And we do have a 1 minute FEG here, but the 2 looks a little bit cleaner. That's why I would wait for the 2. My little mini schnauzer's barking. She loves to bark in the mornings. I feel like I need some coffee, guys. Yeah, so far nothing on the 2 minute either. This has been rejected. But we could get it now. Again, I would prefer it to be at the macro time, which is at 10:50. Doesn't have to happen then, but if we get chop until 10:50 and then we get a big upside move, just know that this is probably the draw. Especially because we swept sell side in the London session and they were equal lows. But again, this PA today is not good, and I told you guys why ahead of time. So if you had a good week like I did, if you followed some of my trades, again, profitable on eval, profitable on funded, profitable on cash accounts. If you had a great week this week, there's no reason to be trading a potential consolidation New York phase or time distortion like we have here, whichever you want to call it. Are we forming any equal highs here? Nope. Nope. Let me look at the hourly quick. Yeah, guys, big wick rejection here. This is the order block that needs to hold on the hourly. Standard deviation wise, the 1 standard deviation is up here. And again, the 2 standard deviation is very close to the high of the daily, so that's not bad either. Okay, let's look at the 2 again. This is not half bad, guys. I'm not gonna lie. This is, I would give this a 7 out of 10. If you wait for the 2 minute close above here, stop would be, I would probably hard stop down here. But in theory, in reality, the stop loss is a 2 minute close back below the fair value gap. So your long would be a close above, hard stop, or a close back below the 2 minute. Take profit at the internal hourly buy side. Are these equal highs here now? They are equal highs, so we just formed equal highs as well. So we might get some kind of a situation here where we just completely collapse and then we could target these equal highs for later. But yeah, you have to be very careful on days like this because the market is up here potentially to induce traders long, and we might just have sell-offs, especially with all this low resistance liquidity. So be very careful. Benoj, isn't your buy setup still inside that 520 zone, which it hasn't broken yet? My buy setup is within the 520 zone. No, my take profit is at the 520 zone. The buy setup forms if we get a 2 minute inverse above this fair value gap. So if we close above 20,502 on the 2 minute, that would be the long setup up to hourly buy side at 20,528. Does that make sense, Binoche? The long setup forms at 502. Take profit is at 528. But again, only if we close above. This looks like we could potentially just dump here. From my experience, that has happened many a times, and we leave these equal highs to take weeks, even sometimes weeks later on. So you have to be super careful. But yeah, so my setup, Binoche, just to make it as clear as possible, I wait for a sweep of liquidity. So in this case, it's a 1 minute sweep. Not the best liquidity sweep, but it nonetheless is a liquidity sweep. I wait for an obvious 2 minute or 1 minute or 3 minute fair value gap to form. I look for a close above it. Once we close above it, the long setup is taken, and my target is whatever the liquidity is for the day. In this case, it's this 528 level. But the reason that this trading model is so effective is because it stops you from entering stupid trades at supply zones and demand zones. It's very precise, and my stop is an immediate close back below the fair value gap. So if we close above on the 2 minute and then we close back below it, I'm out of the trade for a very small loss. I keep my RR good, and it stops me from taking trades. For example, trying to potentially front run this here and then getting smoked like this. Like there's just so many times where you can just, you're basically buying based on a hope and not based on a precise model. That's why I like it so much. So I know exactly what the trade looks like and exactly where to take it, exactly where to cut it, and why. And that just comes with experience with the model, but also for my brain, having a mathematical model that I can repeat day after day without any ifs, ands, or buts is why I think it's so successful. Okay, so it looks like we're about to sweep those equal highs. And there they are. It's a pretty strong candle here, guys, after liquidity was swept. So this looks like a decent buy. Again, if it closes above on the 2 minute, that's where my long will be. Not a huge fan of the time right now. I prefer it to happen in the macro, but I'm still willing to try this setup. So we did not close above on the 2 minute here, guys. See how the candle didn't close above the fair value gap? So unfortunately, I might have to let this go without me. But this could also easily just be a trade into the 2 minute to reject. So I'm waiting for a 2 minute close above. That's where the long entry will be. If it doesn't give it to me, it doesn't give it to me. So I have to wait 2 more minutes for this trade. Do you preset your order or do you market fill? I market fill normally. I just have it on the screen so you guys can see a general idea of where the stop loss and take profit would be. So if the body was above, then the trade is valid? Correct. Only if the body closes above. If we wick like this, it's not valid. So I enter on a body close above the fair value gap, and my stop loss would be a body close below the fair value gap. So right now, like I said, this could be a 2022 model short, inducing traders long and then rejecting from this 2 minute gap. So the reason that the trading model is so effective is that by closing above the fair value gap, we can see that the market structure is changing from bearish to bullish. And that's why it's very likely to at least go to the internal high here, because everybody that was short in this fair value gap has their stop above this buy side liquidity right here. So that's why it's so effective, because the algorithms drive price up to the highs of these wicks, and that's where you can often take profits on. And see, I'm waiting for the body to close above, because if it doesn't close above, this is just a 2022 short model down. There's definitely a 5 to 10 second lag on YouTube comments. There's a lag in general. That's why eventually I'm gonna move this to the Discord, because Discord, okay, guys, another 2 minute close inside the fair value gap, so I can't take this. I love Discord so much, and that's why I'm gonna eventually live trade there. But I want to try and build up a group of people that want to be in the Discord. I have about 10, like I said so far, that pay, but I want to build a bigger community before I start moving the live streams private. But Discord has like little to no lag at all. So, yeah. So it's a lot better to trade in real time. Okay, guys. So 10:32. We got 2 more minutes until this close. I want to see a body close above to take the long again. So far, we're just rejecting. So, not an optimal setup. Nothing is valid yet. But again, guys, this just this price action here makes me want to just leave the screen right now. Terrible price action, like I said. Big Asia, London moves lead to consolidation in the New York session. And that's what we're seeing here. So even if this setup does work, I would fully expect to be stopped out on it. And again, I've had big days, cash and funded accounts this whole week, as well as eval. This is only an eval day for me. Because I've had such a profitable week, I've learned not to trade on Fridays, especially in suboptimal conditions like this. But yeah, and I know I've talked to a lot of you guys about this before. Day trading is about 20% of my income. A lot of my income comes from real estate. A lot of my income comes from selling options. And a lot of it comes, the majority of my trading income comes from swing trading. My biggest moves are from swing trades, and all those are called in the Discord. And again, eventually I'm going to move this live streaming into the Discord, but for now it'll stay on YouTube. I appreciate it, Benoj. Yeah, that's what I also don't like about a lot of these online traders is they instigate a lot of like almost like FOMO in people. I remember when I was beginning trading or whatever, for me personally, when I was beginning trading and I was following a lot of traders on X, they like have this energy about them that they have to take a trade, or like they give you FOMO based on the way that they speak. And it almost gives you this like perspective or mindset of wanting to take trades, and it leads to like a starting of a tilt. So I definitely prefer to give off an energy of patience and discipline, because otherwise you're just going to get screwed. So yeah, there's a lot of shady people out there, and a lot of entertainers. I've said this before. I'm not on these streams to entertain. I mean, it's fun. It's great to have fun. I like, shooting the shit, but at the end of the day, I'm not here to entertain you. I'm here to show you what profitable trading looks like and what discipline looks like and patience. And on a day like today, this is not the time to be trading in my eyes. And I'm trying to teach you guys too what I look for. In the morning, I called this, if you rewind the tape, you'll see that I went over this. Let me take the magnet tool off here so that you can see. But from the low of Asia to the high of London, we had a 145 point move. After a big day yesterday with a lot of movement, and we're within this range on the daily. Like look at, we're still in this range, right? Nothing is broken out to the upside or downside. So just all that stuff in combination tells me that today is probably going to be low probability conditions. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, even if this 2-minute inverses, I'm telling you right now, this is not a 9 out of 10 trade. It's not a 10 out of 10 trade. It's a 6.5 to a 7 out of 10 trade. And look, we're getting that 2022 model rejection that I said, because we never closed a body above this 2-minute fair value gap. Notice how the bodies closed within the fair value gap. We wicked, which manipulated a lot of people long probably, but then we rejected. I know another guy who sits on the screen for almost 6 hours with trading and trades prop accounts with a hell of a lot of scalps where it is not needed, and win some, lose some, just to do live sessions every day. He gives good weekly levels, but a bad trader. Yeah, I mean, listen, I do know, and I personally am a scalper as well a lot of the times. I do know some great scalpers, but even my scalps, I'm waiting for AAA plus setups. I don't click the button. I've posted this on X a lot. If you click the button and your heart starts to beat, okay, there's two problems there. Number one is either you're over leveraged, meaning you're trading with too much size and you're getting emotional, your heart's starting to beat. Or number two, you're clicking the button for dopamine and you're uncertain, very uncertain of the outcome. When I click the button, first of all, I never trade with size that I can't handle emotionally. And that doesn't matter what size I trade with. Again, this is an eval account, so you're seeing me trade with one contract. But if I'm not 90% certain of the outcome before I click the button, I don't take the trade. Because I've learned over time that once my heart starts to beat, emotions take over, the monkey instinctual brain takes over, and you end up going on tilt and losing your accounts. Your logic and thought process goes out the window, especially if you lose the trade. And even if you win the trade, because your heart's beating, you have all this adrenaline, it still leads to bad trading decisions for the rest of the day. So I'm never taking trades. If my heart beats, I'm out. I don't even click the button anymore if my heart beats, because I've realized over time that what that leads to, if that makes sense. Yeah, I appreciate that, Banoj. And over time, I hope to inspire more people or teach more people here. But again, I've just recently started streaming, so whatever comes with it, comes with it. I trade anyways, and I'm happy to share my insights. And again, I've told you guys, eventually I do want to take this private. If I start getting a lot of people in the stream, there's going to be a lot of BS in the comments and distractions and stuff. So eventually it'll have to be private. And that way we have people that are serious, that are watching and making comments and not taking me into a bad mind state by making a bunch of stupid comments. So but look at this. If I show you this chart on the 5-minute, look at this PA. Such terrible PA. It's complete barcode nonsense. No liquidity sweep here from this low. So this is like seek and destroy. Look, we have a high, we take it out, we reject. We have a low, we take it out, high, take it out, low, high, low, high. It's just complete chop garbage. Time distortion, nonsense. Woo-hoo. I run a web and SEO agency. Oh, that's good, Binoj. I have a few friends that do SEO optimization, and I think he does a lot of like digital marketing stuff. But you like that? You see success with that stuff? Sent you a DM on Discord. Let me check. Council saw. Awesome, bro. Oh, you're in. Oh yeah, you said you were in Pennsylvania, right? So guys, if this 2-minute closes above, it's also an order block here that we're potentially forming. So not a bad trade. Again, I'd give it a 6.5 to a 7 out of 10, and I will be taking it out on eval, but that is it. Holland, Pennsylvania. Nice, bro. You're in a swing state, huh? Isn't Pennsylvania where Trump almost got assassinated? Wasn't it what was it? Forgot where. Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, guys, look, another rejection from the 2-minute. So the more times we reject off this 2-minute fair value gap, the more confidence I'll get that it will break. But so far it looks like it's rebalancing the 2 minute to potentially just continue to the downside. But let's say we get like 1, 2, 3, 4 rejections off the 2 minute and then we inverse it. Very likely that we'll break to the upside. Especially because the draw, again, is this hourly. Right here, there's a lot of people that are short that have their stops above this high. But I've seen this price action before. There's a lot of situations where we almost get to this hourly buy side and then we just mess around for the rest of the day and we never get to it, trying to stop traders out who are in longs. Butler. It was Butler, Pennsylvania. That's right. Yo, is anybody else in this live stream trading this? Or are you guys all just watching? Waiting for this 2 minute, guys. Yeah, Bob is smart. Bob is smart. Bob Paris. Bob has been trading IFEGs for a while too. He trades ICT. And he's pretty good at waiting for setups. For sure. Another rejection off the 2 minute, guys. Here, you see that? 2 minute rejection, 2 minute rejection. So the more times we trade, hopefully we'll get it in this macro time at 10:50. If we get the 2 minute close above in the macro time, that'll be a good time to take the long. So. Okay. So we got 6 minutes till the macro, guys. I'm going to be right back. Watch this trade go without me. But I'll be right back, guys. So wait until the 10:50 macro, but I'll be there. All right. Okay, so far looks decent. Let's look at the 3 quick. Yeah, guys, this looks so ugly. I'm even hesitant to take this. In this macro time, it still looks so ugly to me. What I'm going to expect to happen here is I'll have to lower my stop. Because look at all these wicks here. Do you guys see this? This tells me that we're very likely to have additional wicks. So a lot of people that are trying to take this long to the hourly buy side get smoked. We just took out this internal high as well. It just looks so bad. I'm just letting you guys know, on this eval account, if I take this, I'm fully expecting to get stopped out on the trade. And that's why I'm already hesitant to take it. But again, it's an eval account. I'll show you guys what happens when you try and take not A plus setups. 6.5 to 7 out of 10 setups like this. It might work, right? It might work, but I'm telling you guys ahead of time. If you're in an account with an account that you're emotional with, I would not suggest taking this live. Also, guys, if you're watching the stream, we only got 50% of people liking this stream. There's 4 people watching it and 2 likes. That's really lame. Okay, so we're about to get the 2-minute close above. We have 30 seconds left to the close. No. So again, no close on the 2-minute chart. Or is it? 2 seconds left. No close. No close. Again, a body. So that's unfortunate, but now we just have to sit and wait. Let me look at the 15 quick. Wow, look at this. Look at this on the 15-minute chart. Imagine trying to trade this, guys. Ugh. It's gross. Again, this hourly, we have a fair value gap here that inversed, an order block that formed. So this still looks like it's a strong area of support for longs, but the way that we get there can be very, very sketchy, I guess you can call it. Let's check and see what's going on X while we wait. Ooh, Riot's up 6%. Let's go. I want to put Bitcoin up on a chart next to this. How are bonds doing today? TLT at 0.38, nothing exciting. Bitcoin at 68,400. Wow. Just wow. Told you guys, this is going to 70, and it's going to probably going to hit all-time highs very soon. Another 2-minute close below, but this is the macro time. So this is, guys, again, algorithmically speaking, if you guys want this indicator on your charts, I have ICT macros by Cognito. Okay, and if you look at my macros, these are the ones that I use: 950 to 1010, 1050 to 1110, 1150 to 1210. It will label them all on your charts. Take a screenshot of this if you guys haven't yet. 3, 2, 1. And it will label the macros for you on the screen, so you know when the macro times are. And the algorithms tend to spool price to liquidity in the macro time. So if you don't use those and you use TradingView, they are a great thing to have on your charts. So I want to see the move happen within the macro time. Can you show the times again? Yeah, take a screenshot of this, Spinoge. Oh, hold on. I'll leave it on for 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I personally use, and just to keep it on here, I use the 950, 1050, and 1150 more than anything. I typically trade the AM session of New York, but if the AM is shitty like it is right now, I will use these macros for the afternoon session because they are relatively good. So we could get a good PM session, guys. So we'll have to wait until after lunch, and then maybe I'll come back and live stream for the PM. Not 100% yet. We'll have to see what. I have one real estate deal that I have to work on potentially. I'll have an appointment with a client, so we'll see. Okay, so still no close above and a big rejection there, so terrible, terrible PA. Yeah, also guys, one good trader that I follow on X, who I think he's even the creator of, well, he's not the creator, but he made inverse fair value gaps pretty popular, is a Dodgy DD. I don't know if you guys have heard of him. He just posted that he didn't take any trades today either. Makes sense. One of the few profitable traders that's smart. Daniel, 3 rejections on the 15, but I slapped my finger. Yeah, I think shorts and longs are getting smoked today. But good for you. There's no setup here. We are trading in this 15-minute fair value gap. That is true. So we could be rejecting from this. But again, none of these are my model. If it's your model, great. It's not my model. So that's why I don't take the trades. We did just sweep both sets of liquidity here. So guys, if you want a lower risk long, this is not half bad. So we swept both sides of liquidity on the downside, right? All of this. So everybody that was long now is officially stopped out. If we inverse this, you can quickly move your stop to break even, and then I would hold it up to here. I would take a partial at these. Are these equal highs here on the one? Okay, but they're right next to each other, so they're not as optimal. But you could try this 1 minute long, stop to break even at this internal buy side because we have this tiny 1 minute for value gap, and then hold the rest all the way up to here. So this trade is actually a really good RR. It's almost a 4-to-1 trade, so not half bad. Yeah, it was a good short, I guess. But again, it's not my model, nothing that I see. So if it was good for your model, then for sure. But if you're second guessing yourself, probably best not to take the trade. You wanted a model that you're so confident with and you've seen 1,000 times where your heart would not beat. So it looks like we're gonna go down and take out this liquidity. Yeah, nothing that I like. Personally, again, everybody's models are different. You could have been frothing at the mouth here and expecting this to reject. If you did, great. But that's not what my trading model looks like, so I'm happy to sit and we'll let those trades play out and watch them. Let's take a look at Tesla today. Tesla's up, okay. Guys, and I've told you guys this already, but I think, and again, I'm putting my neck on the line here, but I think Tesla is close to its all-time lows. I mean, it's definitely possible that we can continue down, but we have so much LRLR up here. Tesla cars are driving themselves. Optimus bots are starting to walk on stairs now. They can self-charge. It's just crazy. Like, these are the times to be investing in these companies, in my opinion. I added a bunch of shares to my Roth. I added like 10,000 worth of Tesla to my Roth on this drop at 214. I think I bought, or 216. I'll have to check. Did we create equal lows here? Are these equal lows? Oh, okay. We just made equal lows here, guys. So, wow. So again, if you guys don't know, equal highs and equal lows are algorithmically strong magnets for a price. Doesn't mean they have to hit right away. Like right now, I think we'll probably inverse this one and go here. but eventually these will be taken out most likely. So if you guys want to scalp, this is not half bad. It's going to be a 1-to-1 trade pretty much up to this internal high. In fact, guys, I think I might try this. If we get a 1-minute close up here, I'm going to take a scalp up to this internal high. We got 10 seconds till the close. Okay, guys, no close above, so I can't take that. Even though it might work, didn't close above the 1-minute fair value gap for me to take the trade. How's the 2-minute look here? No 2-minute. Yeah, this could, you see guys, this could easily be a rejection back down to the equal lows. So be very careful if you're trying to long this. Again, no model formed. Bodies did not close above the 1-minute fair value gap. And look at the rejection. So look how this is the type of trade that saves me. Okay, if my model presented itself and we closed above, I would have taken a long, but because we didn't, I didn't take the trade, I didn't chase anything, and now I'm not getting smoked on this down close candle. Let me look at the 3-minute quick. Also, guys, okay, so this is not bad, okay? If we take out these equal lows and then we have big displacement back above this 5-minute, that will be a really good setup to this hourly buy side. Just a heads up, guys. So if we get this in the PM session, maybe, that's going to be really good. Damn it. I keep getting logged out of this TradeAvate account. I don't know why. Hold on, guys. Let me log in. So again, I just recognized a really good 5-minute setup that could come in the afternoon session. I'll show you guys that in a second. Just let me log back into this account. Into the city, was all in the snow. Oh, whoa, whoa. Okay, I'm back in. Whoopsies. Oh, it looks like we're gonna get the 1-minute inverse here, guys. See if I can get this quick enough without my computer lagging. Oh, I'm gonna miss it. And my stop will be a close below. So this is either going to be a lose or a win. I could care less. Hard stop here. My take profit is at this 1-minute high. I'm going to move my stop to break even very quickly. It looks like I'm going to get chopped out of it, but let's see. So, oh wait, did we not close above? Oh, guys, this is not a valid trade. All right, I'm out of it. That's not a valid trade. I thought we closed above the 1-minute, but we didn't. Sorry, guys. That actually, in my opinion, Benoj, that was a decent trade. But again, it didn't. I was not paying attention. I thought we closed above on the 1-minute, but I would just take a scalp up to this internal high. I think that's probably a 8 out of 10. just based on the PA. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't even a setup, so it doesn't have even a plus. It doesn't even have a symbol. It's like an F. So we just missed the high. I would probably have taken profits if I was still in this, if it was valid. It is valid here, by the way, guys, but I'm not going to take that trade after I just made a mistake, so. So we're now balancing this 5-minute. Again, this is what I was telling you guys about. If we get the 5-minute close above here, this, in my view, will be an A+ trade. Ideally, we want it to happen within this macro, so the 1150 to 1210. But for now, we're just balancing this 5-minute to potentially go down again. So I actually really like this, guys. We're balancing this 1-minute and this 5-minute. We're in a macro time. If we get a death candle here, then I would take it to these equal lows. But yeah, so again, guys, this was a valid trade here, but because I messed up on the 1-minute and I took it before the close above, I didn't enter back into the trade. Binoche marked the 5-minute. He's locked and ready to go. Let's go. So it looks strong right now. Definitely looks good. We took out a bunch of liquidity. Again, I don't like that we just formed equal lows. I'm not going to lie. But if we get the 5-minute close here, I would potentially look for either a 30-second or a 1-minute IFEG within the 5 to go to buy side. I don't really like taking naked 5-minute fair value gaps, especially when we're at highs like this and we had a chop. So I will not take this immediately after a 5-minute close. I'll zoom in and wait for a 1-minute setup within the 5-minute IFEG. OPEX CHOPEX. Yes, sir, that's right. That is right. Wow, guys, I cannot get over how beautiful this Bitcoin chart looks. If you are not in Bitcoin right now, I mean, you shouldn't be entering now. You should have entered at the daily fair value gap that I called on X. By the way, guys, I called. Let me go back to I think it was the 4-hour or the daily right here. I said buy side mode activated. Get your popcorn ready, and I was calling for a buy model. So look at this buy model that's formed, and now we're about to take out these highs. I'm not saying I'm the GOAT, but look at this rejection here off the 5, guys. Lights and rainbows all in the snow. So if we get a death candle here on the 1, this would not be a bad setup to these equal lows. Just a heads up. Now we are balancing this 1-minute fair value gap and we're wicking out of it. So that shows me that this is acting as support to potentially take us higher. Not bad, not bad. If this 3-minute inverses right here, I think that's also a decent setup up to these highs. Bitcoin equals MicroStrategy options trade for me. Yeah, whatever asset you follow that follows Bitcoin is fine with me. MicroStrategy is an interesting one, very volatile, but has been very successful. This 2-minute also does not look bad, guys. And we're forming an order block within the 2-minute. So I do like this. So we're trading out of a bullish 1-minute fair value gap with strength, forming a 2-minute order block and a 2-minute fair value gap with low resistance liquidity above and hourly buy side. All of that confluence is really good to me. What day and time was your Bitcoin signal so I can cross-check with MicroStrategy? It was on the daily chart. The signal formed on September 9th. on the day that it closed. So at the end of day on September 9th. So that level was what? 56,941. If we go to the 15 minute, go back to September 9th. Is it here? So somewhere here around market close. Okay, guys, the 2 minute is looking nice. 2 minute is looking nice. Let me close my blinds. I'm getting a glare here. Hold on. All right, that's better. So 2 minute order block, 2 minute IFVG, macro time, hourly buy side, 1 minute liquidity, a 1 minute bullish fair value gap. A lot of good confluence here. Are these equal highs too? No way. Oh no, they're not equal highs. I always get excited when I see equal highs. But optimally, you want to wait for at least the 3 minute to close above. So just a heads up, guys. And the 5 minute has not closed above yet either. So, but this is what the trade will look like. If I limit order, it would be right here. Stop loss would be a close back below the 5. So it'd be about a $300 loss for a $650 take profit. And I would suggest you taking partials here. Just based on the nature of the day, honestly, I would either take my profits here or move my stop to break even here. Two minute still is not closed above. And the 3 minute has not closed above either. I'm going to wait for the 3 to take this, guys. And that happens at 8:12. 5 minute looks pretty good. And that closes in a minute. So if you guys really want, you can just take it on the 5. I don't advise that, especially based on the nature of today, but that's totally up to you. Not my model to take a 5 minute trade in this type of environment. Get that close right. All right, so the 5 minute closed above. So in theory, this should work now. But because of this chop that we've experienced today, I'm not trying to take this. I'm waiting for the 3 and the 2 minute to close above first. The 1 minute did close above here, which is nice. We have these 2 order blocks, so you can use those as your stop loss. But again, I'm going to wait for the 3 minutes to take this. Oh. So it's about a $250 stop to make 700 right now, which is not bad. Not bad at all. We're about to get hopefully the 3 minute will close above here at 8:12. Let's see if we get it. Oopsies. I mean, this 5 minute really doesn't look half bad. But again, I want the 3 minute close, which is right here, and we still have not closed above it. And, oh, we're about to close above it, hopefully. 5 more seconds till the close. Let's see if we get it. And, oh, we got the close above. Guys, I'm going to buy this. So stop to break even when we hit this high. That's what I would suggest. Stop to break even when we hit this internal high. The risk on this trade is 250 to make 700. If you're risk averse, you can take your profits at this internal high. And just based on what I see in the next couple of candles, I may or may not do that. So we'll decide. Anyone else in this trade? Let's see if it works. Again, guys, if we don't get an immediate pricing above this high, I'll probably take my profits here. But if we kind of like chop and go down a little slower, I'll just move my stop to break even there. But if we get a big push immediately, I'll just take the profits. We'll see what the candles look like. And again, because of this chop day, could easily just get stopped out here, and that will be my only trade of the day. Nothing else if we lose this. Oh. And also, it's 11 o'clock. Honestly, this is not optimal because of the time, but again, if we get stopped out on this trade, it'll be my only trade, and that's the end of it. Looks like we're going to get stopped out. It's technically a 5-minute close below here, but I'm not interested in waiting for that close. I'd rather just hard stop. And I'll let it go without me. If it does, great. But again, not optimal, but it is what it is. This will be my only trade of the day, guys, if we get stopped out on this. So far we're closing right at the 5-minute. What do we have left? A minute till this close. Yeah, I really don't like this, but let's see if we get lucky. So the 5-minute is about to close without, we didn't close below the 5-minute, so that's a good sign, but I think based on what I'm seeing here, I'm going to move my stop to break even once we hit this high right here. And then I'll take profits right here. So I've changed my plan here because of the PA. I'll sell here and move my stop to break even when we hit this high. Still haven't hit it. Once we hit this high, guys, right here, I'm moving my stop to break even. And if we get stopped out, that's still the only trade of the day. Stopped out for break even or stopped for a loss, only trade of the day. So again, we still didn't hit the high, so my stop is not moved yet. Just my fingers getting tired of holding the button, so. So if you guys are in this trade, again, the real trade is we'll stop it out if we get close below the 5-minute. But for me, it's a hard stop right here. But like we could easily wick down here and never close below the 5. We don't know what's going to happen yet. We could also just chop around until the 11:50 macro, which is in like 40 minutes. So We don't know what we're going to get here, guys. Three-minute is still holding this 3-minute fair value gap. The close for the 3-minute is here, so in theory, the trade is actually still valid till the 3-minute closes below, but again, with this type of uncertainty with the 3-minute and a 5-minute, I'll just keep a hard stop. But just based on this PA, I would rather take profits quick, which would be at this internal high. Maybe even at the body, honestly. Just to be safe. So again, guys, when this internal high gets taken, my stop gets immediately moved to break even. If I'm even lucky enough to get it. Still haven't taken out the high. Is anybody in this trade, or are you all just watching? I'm curious to see if anyone has the courage to be in this trade. Oh, Benoja's in it? Oh, guys, so we just took the high out, so I'm moving my stop to break even here. I'm probably going to get stopped out on it, but again, the nature of today is why I am moving my stops quickly. And stopped out. So that's it, guys. I'm not taking that again. It can easily still work, but because of the chop of today, I am very quick to move my stops to break even. If this price action should have moved higher after taking out this internal high, at least to the body of this high or the high of this this wick. But it could easily still work. It's just when we take out an internal high on a choppy day like this, I'm very quick to move stops to break even. And that's part of trading. Again, I have about a 65% win rate, 30 to 35% break even rate, and then the rest are losses. Okay, so there's the body. You could easily take profits there if you want, or at the internal high. We do have a lot of LRLR here, so I'm guessing at least this high will get taken, and then the ultimate target would be this internal buy side on the hourly. Okay, so for sure, once this hits, move your stop to break even. If you haven't already, like I did. And you should be pretty much out. I don't like how we're not immediately seeing green candles here. We're just wicking. Not ideal. So what are we at on this account now today? 50,336. So you guys see how much patience I have, that I wait basically the whole day for a setup that I would say is an 8 out of 10. And because of the nature of the day, I'm happy with stopping at break even. There's no FOMO, no irritation, no emotions. It is what it is. I'll even allow myself to watch it go without me, without the upsetting feeling. But you should for sure, if you're in this, have your stop to break even here. But we have all this LRLR now too. So could easily get all these swept, which I think will happen. And then this buy side, and then this internal high here. Binoj, what's your situation like? Did you get stopped? Did you take profits? Are you still holding? What's your status? Nice, bro. Good job. I still think we're going to go up to these 3 highs here. It's like a low resistance liquidity run. We also inverse this 1 minute. But again, I'm not interested in getting chopped up. Exactly. Okay, so we took out this internal high, and now there's a lack of displacement and we're rejecting. Again, it doesn't mean that we're going to go down here, but I'm just pointing out that there's no strength right now of taking out this internal high, which is not a good sign. This is a 5-minute breaker, so in theory we should use this as support to go higher, but yeah, doesn't look great to me. On 10-10 for MicroStrategy, what was the signal? I wasn't looking at MicroStrategy, Binoche. I'm only looking at Bitcoin. Just because a signal came on Bitcoin doesn't mean that a signal had to come on MicroStrategy. No, so on Bitcoin, it was the daily close on September 9th. So if I go back to September 9th, what was the reason for the trade? Well, we traded to the 25% level of this wick, which is allowable. I was expecting maybe the 50, but we didn't get it. And this daily candle that closed at 1600 or whenever it does on September 9th, that was the signal. On the, let's go back to the hourly, September 9th. So around 1300 was when the trade signaled. But it was really the daily close. I think the daily close is at 1600. So it was at 1600 most likely. Whoa, whoa, whoa. $75 in 1 month, huh? Oh, one chart I wanted to look at too, guys, was AMD. This is something I might start selling some puts on. Hold on 1 second. I like NVIDIA, but AMD is actually selling off quite a bit more. So we technically didn't inverse this weekly fair value gap. We did reject. But we have these equal highs here, and I think eventually the target's going to be 187 for AMD. So I might actually sell a round of puts here. It's a tough call. Let's see what we can get for the let's see what we can get for a month out selling the 150 puts on AMD. I think we might get some decent premium on those. So I'm on my phone, guys. I'm not gonna pull up my accounts on my computer in front of you. Don't need you to see all my funds. For the 15th of November, selling the 150 puts gets you $600 in premium. That's not bad at all. So we would be getting AMD at a 5% discount from here, plus the 600 in premium. So you'd be getting AMD for $6 less than this. So it'd be 151 minus 6 is 145. So you'd be getting a 7% discount pretty much by selling the month out puts for AMD. That's pretty darn good. I think that that's worth it. We do have this daily volume imbalance here. We did fill this daily gap. So guys, I'm gonna set an alert when we trade into this this weekly FEG right here. So that's at 154.58. And when we get there, if it's intraday, I will sell some puts there on AMD. I'll probably sell a couple. But no, show it. No. All right, guys, so it's working out here. The 5-minute did act as support. Looks like this hourly is destined to hit. But again, it's part of trading is sometimes getting stopped at break even and watching a trade go against you. And that's fine. So if you guys want to own AMD and you want to sell a put against it, again, you're going to basically put collateral up for 100 shares. You're signing a promissory note to buy 100 shares at a certain price. For me, selling the 150 puts, that's a capital of 15,000 per contract, so it's not that bad. But again, you have to be prepared to be spending $15,000 on AMD. For a month out, you're collecting $600 in premium. So if we open that on the calculator, 600 divided by 15,000 times 100, you're getting a 4% return each month. So that's almost a 50% return annualized if you sell puts every month on AMD. It's not bad at all. This 1 minute looks really, I like this a lot. If we take out this internal buy side or maybe this buy side, and then we inverse this, I will take a short down to this low. I really like that actually. So that's, guys, that's what I was showing you on AMD. That's the power of selling options. A 4% return a month selling puts on AMD. You need $15,000 of collateral, and you're making $600+ a month. So you're basically making a 48 to 50% return a year selling puts on AMD. You'd make about what, $7,500 on a $15,000 investment. That's really, really good. That's the power of selling puts and calls. Okay, so there's buy side that just got taken. 150 strike for a month out. Not even, I think it was like 25 days if I'm not mistaken. It was like the November something puts. So guys, immediate rejection off this hourly. If we inverse this one right now, I think we're going to go down to, I don't know, maybe this internal low. but let's see what we got. Lights and rain was all in the snow. We could easily continue here up to these equal highs. That's possible too. Sucks that I got stopped out, but it is what it is. I just, normally on a regular day, I would not have moved my stops to break even so quickly at this 3 minute, right? I moved my stops to break even once we took out this high. But because of the nature of the day, I moved my stop to break even quick, and that's just how it goes. Correct, Binoche. So if it hits 150 or below by the strike, then I will be forced to buy 100 shares at 150. So it's a 15,000 collateral. Exactly, Binoche, by the expiry, exactly. Okay, guys, so I am liking shorts here. I ain't gonna lie, but I need to see a close back below this 1 minute. How's the 2 minute looking? Is there something? Also, the 2 minute, that could be a good one if you want a little bit. It just depends on which one closes first, but I do think this could be a good short. At least, so your stop would be moved to break even at this low right here, and then I would hold it down to like maybe here, even if you wanted to. Bitcoin's almost at 69,000. I've done it before and we'll do it again. Rising from the ashes, taking a futures account from 250 to 4K. That's awesome. Okay, guys, I think Bitcoin's gonna maybe even hit 70K by the end of today. We'll see. Possible. Oh, this is looking really good, guys, for a short, by the way. Really good. In fact, I'm gonna take it right now. I could care less. I think at minimum we're going here. My stop will be back above this high. So I'm front running this, guys. Again, it hasn't closed yet, but I really like the momentum here. We could easily trade back into here, so just keep that in mind. But this is a scalp down to this low. So we just closed below on the 2 minute, if I'm not mistaken. No, not yet. We have a little bit of time left on this. Up almost 100 per contract. 105, 110, and hit. All right, guys, so we got a winning trade on the day. Finally, after just sitting and waiting there, 110 bucks. So we just moved the account from 50,330 to almost 50,500. And that is it. Nothing else will be taken today. But you see how I waited for buy side liquidity to get swept. 1 and 2 minute inverse with a lot of momentum. And I know that everybody that's long has their stops below all these lows right here. And this is probably going to go all the way down to this low. But I'm not interested in taking it today. We had a beautiful week. It was a very choppy day. We already got stopped at break even on one of the trades. So we just took a very easy, very high probability scalp. And that's it. And if you're trading with the micro on an eval account you're trying to grow, 110 bucks a day, and you'll be on your way to profitability or funding the account. How long will that take you? 110 bucks a day. Most of the time I'm making more than 110, but I think you need to move the account to 5,300 or 53,000. So it's a $3,000 profit. So in a month, basically. All right, Binoche, I'll see you guys and everybody else that's here, whoever it is. I think you should be done trading for the day. Again, I think this is the target right now, this internal low. Stop should be moved to break even if you took this short. But yeah, good. Enjoy your weekend, guys, and we will get back at it on Monday. I will post in the Discord if you guys are in on the economic calendar. So I'll tell you guys which days I'm trading and why on which accounts, eval funded, cash account, whichever it is. And yeah, we'll take it step by step. So